In this next chapter, we're going to discuss another market failure, the market failure that has to do with externalities. We'll define an externality, what it is. We will explore some of the ways in which we have tried to figure out how to deal with these externalities, this market failure. And we'll do a little bit of digging into how those systems work and how sometimes they don't really provide what we think they're providing. So the main topic, the main example in this chapter has to do with the environment, because negative externalities often play out in the environment. And environmental economics is something that if you were really interested in, you could get an entire degree relating to environmental economics, which is the application of economic principles to environmental issues. So the first thing that you will discover in this chapter is the definition of an externality, which is simply a cost or a benefit that's borne by a third party, somebody other than the two parties directly involved in the transaction. So if it's a cost, it's a negative externality, and if it's a benefit, it's a positive externality. And this chapter and most examples often focus on negative externalities simply because there are more examples of negative externalities within our world. Within the chapter, you'll also understand externalities as you dig into the difference between private costs and private benefits and social costs and social benefits. And really the issue of externalities has to do with the fact that these costs and benefits are not the same at the private level versus the social level. So how do we deal with this market failure? One way is through command and control. We just simply create some laws and regulations that tell people and businesses how they're going to behave so that there's some kind of socially desirable outcome that occurs. So the book will describe several methods and laws that we've used that are command and control. There's also some incentive and market-based solutions, a variety of tax mechanisms that have been created, as well as the creation of what's called an emissions trading system. And so you will explore how the emissions trading system was created as a way to make it so that the people who value the right to pollute the most are the ones that would pay for the right to pollute. And the book has some discussion as to what an emissions trading system is. And really the issue with externalities has to do with the fact that property rights have not been defined. So for example, who has the right to the air in the classroom? Is it the student who is just sitting there taking notes? Or is it the student who possibly is maybe eating a hot piece of pizza when class is at lunchtime and everybody smells the pizza? Who really has the right to the air? If you're allowed to eat in the classroom, then maybe it's the student who's eating the pizza, and everybody else just has to smell what he's smelling, what he's bringing into the classroom. So the problem with externalities is that the property rights have not been defined. There was a gentleman by the name of Ronald Coase who indicated that if we can just assign the property rights to somebody, then the market system could actually deal with this problem. And the government might not necessarily need to get involved. And it's possible that the market can deal with this as opposed to the government, if we can just get over the fact that property rights have not been defined. So out of this chapter, you should explore what an externality is, as well as the three different ways of thinking about how to deal with this market failure. Um, we recognize that we're not able to get to a perfectly clean, perfectly pure environment. We're not able to deal with all externalities in a perfect sense, but maybe we can get closer to that optimal outcome if we engage in one of these three types of practices.